Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The Americas kickoffs is just about to get back underway and there are some massive matches going down this evening. FNS has been giving his predictions, especially on the group of death. He reckons that Loud and Sentinels are going to be the two teams to advance and Leviathan will not be making it all the way through. Is that going to come true this evening? Many other storylines as well around the kickoffs around the world. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, of course, VCT China is going on as well. Thought this is a pretty spectacular transition actually as well. They put together here. We'll discuss what's happening in those kickoffs in just a couple of seconds. But firstly, we do have to discuss Fnatic and what happened in the EMEA side over the last couple of days, especially Team Heretics. And there's a lot to say on that team. But also, Durka and Alpha also confirm that his contract has been extended. Fnatic, we know they're going to be pretty good. They play very shortly, actually. We'll discuss in a second. They confirmed Boaster to be signing an extended deal just the other day. They've now confirmed Alpha will be doing the same thing. So I think it makes a lot of sense really for both parties, but that's the future of that team for now. This is the Chinese region, just to have a look. So Trace Esports 2-0'd Tyloo, FBX 2-0'd Nova Esports, JD got 2-0'd by Titan Esports Club, and right now it's Dragon Ranger Gaming versus All Gamers, and it's currently an absolute banger game one, going 12-11 here on the Sunset. So, 2-0s so far across the board. We'll see how that one develops. Of course, we've got Edward Gaming here that play in a couple of days after Billy Wolves, which happens rather shortly. This, though, is what's happening in the Pacific. So, as it stands, we have Gen.G Team Secret Zeta Division that made it through to the play-ins, and Gen.G got the job done. So, we saw they beat Team Secret in a really close series. They then 2-0'd Zeta Division. Zeta got slammed here, right? I mean, they did not have a good day yesterday. They got smoked by Team Secret 2-0, 13-1 on the Icebox, 13-8 here on the Ascent, and then they went to play Gen.G and got slammed as well. So yeah, tough day for Zeta for sure, and they are clearly a few steps away here from being where they need to be. But anyway, Gen.G did what they needed to do, and they got through by winning the play-in to the playoffs. Now, there was a bit of discussion on exactly how this is determined, right? So Jake Sin actually said here, right, Jake, to give an explanation on this, the playoff matches are decided by a random draw with the condition that the play-in winner must be placed on the opposite side of the bracket to the team they played against in groups. A random draw therefore results in PRX T1, DRX Gen.G. So I guess that makes sense, but obviously given that's a condition, you can't really randomize it too many ways, and I think the outcome is pretty understandable. So beginning tomorrow, the two teams will be confirmed. The winner of this one goes through, the winner of this one goes through, and I guess the interesting thing is here that there's no double elimination now, right? This is a straight up two semi-finals. If you win, you're into Masters Madrid. If you lose, you're out, which is probably the way that it should be done, but because it's determined by some degree of a random draw, it's tough, right? So I think the four best teams in the Pacific are here: T1 PaperX, DRX Gen.G. Two of those four will qualify. I mean, that's going to be a banger. I must say I'm somewhat confused as well that how have we got, and also, by the way, like PRX Forsaken versus T1 Execute, right? Brother versus brother, only one qualifies. Just the way that this works now and the way that a bracket is determined. Even if T1 and PaperX are the two best teams in the region, which they could possibly be, the way that a bracket works, only one of them makes it, which is, maybe you can argue that a double elimination or some sort of other format here could have been employed, but that's what they're going to go for. I think the other point as well that I was going to make is that the playoffs are already ready to go in the Pacific, but yet the Americas, which started earlier, we're not even at that point yet. So I'm kind of confused by the formatting here, to be honest, that the Americas League started earlier, the kickoffs, than any other region, but yet they're arguably like as far behind as anybody else is, and they all finish on the same date. Bit confusing. We'll discuss that more in a second. But we've got to talk EMEA because this was probably the most impressive series of yesterday. Carmine Corp, yeah, we know they get clowned on, especially after last year, but they looked pretty good at the first series they played. But Heretics absolutely slams them here. And again, Mini Boo and Boo, these Lithuanian brothers, like they are topping the sheets, and it's incredible to see. 13-4 in the split. On KC's pick, 13-4 in the Lotus. Like, not even close this series. I mean, they just got completely slammed, and we know Narrate did good the first time round. Of course, the unfortunate thing that we have to mention here is Magnum, who had a 0-in-15 bomb, which was mind-blowingly bad, and I'm sure that someone put together the, you know how it goes, the Fort Minor, remember the name, highlights montage when a player drops no kills. I guess he had 8 game 1, to be fair, but it wasn't pretty, was it? And this, of course, is Benji Fishy's team, the organization, you know, former Fortnite player, and people that have watched him over there obviously were pretty confident that he was going to do a good job in the Valorant world. and that is now what we are seeing come into effect. But I just thought it was really impressive here what what they managed to put together, Heretics, because they've advanced in a very impressive way. Now, they're not done yet, quite yet, of course, to go to Masters Madrid, and it is kind of strange in a way that Heretics, having been a Spanish team over the last couple of years, and therefore would have been perfect, right? Heretics, Spanish organization, going there to Madrid if they do end up qualifying, but there's no Spanish players anymore, so it probably doesn't feel quite the same. But it would be cool to see that organization qualify for Madrid, and obviously Rienzi having a bit of a laugh at the sake of Carmine Corp, which is an organization they are unlikely to play again from here for the rest of the tournament. And as Boo says, 2-0 versus KC, we're in playoffs, number 1 seed. My team is insane. The composure, the comms, the trust we have is next level. One more win, of course, now for Masters Madrid as that number 1 seed. And yeah, this is pretty funny. I chucked it on the thumbnail that Heretics put out with Gen.G with the scar, whatever these guns are called. I kind of forget the OG Fortnite stuff, even though this looks a bit more up to date than that. But yeah, you guys see how it goes. And Gen.G Fishy, it's great to see the success that he's having. And yeah, man, Heretics look really impressive as it stands. So they just dominated that one. For Esports as well, they took down Gen.G here. So they did get this victory done. Cloud, I mean, man, this guy hard carries, and Redger, there's questions about this guy, because Redger, for the last couple of years, after the success of Gambit, of course, has not been as impressive, and this series, I mean, either, I don't know what you want to do, get him off the Omen or something, because this was not pretty here. 24 in 49 he went. They lost the split. They did win the Icebox 13-8. Redger had 6 frags, and then the Sunset wasn't pretty either. Clouds does look like, though, a really impressive player, but yeah, wasn't to be. So Gen.G are done. That means KC versus FUT Esports. That's the decider game to determine the team that goes to the play-ins, and the rest of the region is actually going to kick off today. So yeah, in a couple of hours time we get Na'Vi Liquid, and then of course Fnatic played their first series of the day as well this evening. And I did see some debate going around as to exactly how the scheduling has been done here, just because I don't know if the Americas players are probably that happy that they played their kickoff games a long time ago now. Like, the Americas has basically paused for days, and now it's back underway, which just feels like a bit of a strange way to do it. I guess they've just waited until the weekend and stuff, but yeah, the other regions are usually going a bit quicker, and if you look at the schedule here, they all finish on March the 2nd, but, the Americas started 6 days before the Chinese kickoff, so it's probably fine. I understand probably why they've done it, but I think for the players, they might have thought, well, come on, can we not just keep the momentum going? But I suppose these teams have known for days now. I mean, for example, Loud, they played their last game a week ago. Pretty much anyway. I think it's going to be about 6 days. It's, time zone stuff, why this says the 24th here for my time. But they've had ages to prepare for their next game. And those are the games coming up today. So this evening we have 2 massive games in the Americas. NRG Cloud9 and then Loud versus Leviathan. That is going to be a banger. And this is what FNS has to say on the matter.
First of all, this matchup alone is insane. If we get another Loud SEN and SEN win, they're established. Straight up. One of these 3 teams is out. Is crazy to me. Zelsus wants our Loud rematch. Yeah, I mean, dude, all good players will want to play the best teams. But if SEN are able to win this, either matchup, it's insane for them. I think we're going to see Loud SEN. I'm going to be honest. Loud SEN, NRG, C9. To me, this is such an interesting matchup, because I know in my heart of hearts and in my brain that NRG's most likely going to win. But there's a part of me, a small part of me, that thinks that there might be a chance if C9 can get the first map. Either way, NRG's qualifying. Like, worst case, both of these teams are going to qualify, I think. NRG can afford to hide things in both of these matchups and get away with not showing things until they qualify. No matter what, the NRG will beat MIBR. Right? The only questionable one is this one. Like, you won't be able to full hide things compared to these teams who have to show everything. All their comps, everything. Like, Loud had to pull out their Phoenix comp right away. And, that's kind of a huge advantage for NRG.
So he was making it quite clear that as far as he is concerned, NRG and Cloud9 will be the 2 teams to advance, because nobody's going to be able to take down MIBR. I do kind of get reminded, right, by that joke I made a couple of weeks ago now, where I was like, you know what, MIBR and NRG are going to be my teams, or something like that. I said, I don't know, obviously it was just not really taking it too seriously, but now all of a sudden it's thinking, well, I got a second here, because imagine Cloud9 beat NRG, and then NRG play MIBR. I feel like at that point, FNS's words could come back to bite him at somewhat. It feels almost like a Billy situation all over again. I do think NRG are the better team here, but I think that, Cloud9, they do have Oxy, and he is pretty good, as we have seen. I do think NRG, though, should be the more solid team, and you know, as I said before, number 1 seed is really nice. So that's probably what they'll try and go for. Of course they will. But Loud LEV, of course, is the big series, right? And Loud, the way they beat Sentinels was really impressive. And based on that evidence, they're probably going to be the favourites, right? Because 100T, while they were good, they've gone out the worst team in the group, and they did take LEV to a game 3. So I guess if you want to look at it from that angle, Loud should be the team coming in who is the favourite, which is interesting because going into the season, I'd have probably said LEV was better. And I think that people are super split on this. If this series isn't a map 3 banger with like some overtimes, I'll be quite surprised, frankly. And I think also there's the whole Aspas element as well. Aspas versus former team, you're expecting him to play very well, but at the same time, you've got Sadak and those guys. They know what Aspas is about. They know how he's going to try and approach certain situations, and it's just going to be a fascinating battle, right? So I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't honestly know who's going to win, but FNS believes that Loud will win, and they'll come through as the number 1 seed, and then LEV will drop down to the losers bracket and play Sentinels, and based on what he said, right, he's got SEN taking the victory in that, right? Because, you know, as he said, NRG and Cloud9 he's got from Group A, so he said Loud and SEN from Group B. We'll see if that happens, of course. If you're Sentinels, what do you want here? Do you want LEV to win and then play Loud again in a rematch? You lost it the first time, but often the rematches can go a different way. I'm sure that SEN have learned a lot from that first series. Some of the surprise compositions that Loud brought out, they might be able to deploy. But at the same time, if Aspas and the LEV boys were to lose, then SEN get to play a team that they can see a fair bit of VOD on over the last few days. So it's going to be really interesting. Look, my predictions to get out of this group were LEV and SEN. So I think I'm going to stick with that because I might as well. But Loud did just look so good the other day that it's pretty hard to make that call at the present time. And very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.